So it looks like Spurs have their interim manager in place, and that is Igor Tudor. Igor Tudor, not sure how you pronounce it. Yeah, this is been reported throughout the media today, and so it's looking like this one will happen. And this is firmly an interim manager. This is a guy who is known for firefighting, I guess, putting out fires in a really quick space of time. So to be honest, it is a typical, quite reliable in a sense, short-term interim manager. Now, when I first saw this news, um, I was a bit down on it. I was definitely a bit down on it. I was maybe expecting a permanent manager to be brought in. But on an interim basis, as I've done more research on Igor Tudor, I'm starting to warm to it. I am starting to warm to it in terms of what we need right now. And we've got to remember where we are, what we're fighting for, which is getting to a relegation battle at this point. Yeah, I'm not totally against this one. Before I get into him in general, please do make sure you're subscribed. There's going to be plenty more. We're going to do a proper tactical breakdown of him next week, but these are just my kind of initial thoughts. Please do make sure you like the video and all of that stuff. So Igor Tudor, Croatian manager, had a very successful playing career, both at Hajduk Split and at Juventus too. His style is very, I think you'd want to call it kind of Conte-esque, where he comes in, he changes a lot very quickly. He tells players exactly what to do, where to stand. He's ultra aggressive. He's intense in training methods, but he gets players buy-in very quickly. He's a good man manager, and he's able to galvanize a group of players. He's done it throughout his career in terms of coming into a club and really turning things at a quick pace. Now, I think the reason that he's able to kind of galvanize those players is he kind of uses like a physical shock therapy. He's super intense. He's super kind of blunt and demanding of players straight away. The training intensity will jump up. The kind of energy around the place will massively increase. And I think that is a great way to kind of wake these players up, and just new methods. And sometimes that's all it takes, something new, something fresh they can get behind. He takes ultimate control. So he's like, I know what I want to do. This is how we want to set up. Players just have to lock in and give it its full attention. So I really think on a short-term basis, just like how we've seen with Conte, is immediately when Conte came in, things changed. And he is not a manager of Conte's level, of course. But it's a similar kind of personality and demand and style, I guess. Tudor is not someone who's going to build a style slowly. He knows what he wants. He comes in, he demands it, and he pretty much gets results. He's never going to blow up any trees. I don't think we're going to be looking at someone being like, oh my God, we need to hire this guy permanently. But he will get enough results to guarantee Spurs, in my opinion, safety. Now, I think this shows that the club are really worried about relegation, because they've gone and got someone who's arguably one of the best interim managers out there in terms of reliability. So the club clearly don't want to gamble on this one. They clearly want someone who they feel like they can trust to really galvanize this group of players. He's certainly someone who's going to prioritize the now. He's not worried about kind of building towards something. He will think, how do I get results immediately? How do I set up this team in the best way possible to get results? So let's move on to him tactically. So Tudor is a back three manager. The concern with Spurs at the moment is we are lacking centre-backs. We're lacking everywhere. We're lacking wing-backs. We're lacking centre-backs. The only real place we have a bit of depth is a number 8s, because we bought about 11 of those. So this is what I kind of envisage him setting up like. Probably in a 3-5-2, because we don't have wingers. I just don't see anyone else who can start at left wing back other than Sousa. The only kind of other way he might do this, but I'd be really against this in terms of because he does want ultimate width provided by those wing backs, is he could probably do something like this with Gray at right wing back and Spence at left wing back. I really don't think he'll do that though. I do think he'll want the aggression and athleticism of Spence and Sousa at wing back. In which case, it could be Polino at right centre back. It could be Gray. Who knows? Dragusin probably at the central role, kind of marshalling and winning aerials, and Van der Ven probably being your main ball progressor. Now, Tudor doesn't want kind of patient possession. He's very much about direct, aggressive, but he does like being aggressive in the press. So we will play on the front foot. And he'll demand aggressive, kind of taking the game to the opposition. He's not someone who's going to sit off. He will want us to be aggressive. Now, obviously, we have a very depleted squad, so we'll need to know how this kind of fits that. I do think Academy is going to, like I've said many times, it's going to have to be relied upon. I think Byfield is perfect for a back three. I'd love to see him start, to be honest. I think he's the perfect like wide centre back. He's great at defending channels. So if Spence gets caught up here, he's great in these wide areas, but also good on the ball, aggressive, strong, really, and he can play on both sides as well. So I think Byfield will definitely have a part to play. And then the midfield, to be honest, I think he'll find a way to get Xavi Simons in there. And I wouldn't be that surprised if we saw more this, maybe rather than Muani playing, and you have Sarr and Gallagher as your number eights. And that is a really aggressive pairing. I think he'll like that. He'll like players who can run. I think he's big on intensity and aggression and pressing, and sort of verticality. And then you put Simons in a more kind of creative striker role, allowing him to drop in, Sarr running beyond, etc., etc. So that's just roughly how I think he could set up. But I will dive into him properly tactically when I'm able to do a bit more research on his games. However, this is just a minimal step. We have to get that summer appointment right. They should be working day and night now until the summer to make sure this appointment is spot on. Ideally, we get the contract signed before and get it sorted so that we can start working on the summer window with the manager. You know who my dream appointments are. Xabi Alonso, Julian Nagelsmann. I'd probably put Poch in third after those two. I put a good video out yesterday with TBL, a Chelsea fan, about the Poch appointment. There's pros to it, there's cons. I think Nagelsmann and Alonso are more reliable, but it's probably unlikely we'd get them. I think Maresca is another good shout, and Slot if Liverpool sack him. I think all three of those are kind of the tier below Nagelsmann and Alonso for me. It's probably most likely going to be Poch, which I can get behind. There are some concerns there. I think we'd have to get a bigger squad, but we will probably only have one game a week next season, so that's worth thinking about. But the summer appointment must be spot on. But yeah, that's Igor Tudor. I think it's a steady, stable appointment. Man management is good, especially initially. He can get players on side. He's a very good motivator, so he can get players to buy in. Tactically, not incredible, but someone that can be a short-term gain. Thanks for watching. Come on, you Spurs.